Howdy everyone, this is LockNutz, and you're watching a map tour of Frankenmuth Farming by TaylorFarms. Hopefully you'll stick around to see what happens. Howdy, 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 how are you guys doing today? Oh my goodness, I tell you what, today we get to go on a map tour of Frankenmuth Farming by TaylorFarms. Now this little bad mamma jam has 180.29 megabytes to download and is currently only for PC. Now before we get down into the nitty gritty of everything, let's take a look at what we're doing right now. I have started this gameplay off in new farmer mode, that way you would know exactly what you get if you did start new farmer mode. Starting off with money-wise. Money-wise, you start from scratch with $500,000. Farm Manager 1.5 million, and here in new farmer mode, $100,000. When it comes to all the game modes that there are available here, all of these red buildings here on this starter farm, which we'll take a look at in just a little bit, all of those are here no matter what. The house, the silo, and that little water tank over there, those are not available, or I should say they're not starting off on the farm unless you are doing things in new farmer mode. Now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and take just a second here and see what the map maker has to say. Welcome to Frankenmuth Farming Map. This map is a Michigan, USA style farming map located near the city of Frankenmuth. The map has 41 fields ranging from small to large in size. There are 3 farm locations on the map. You must buy the land before you can use or sell the buildings on those specific farms. There are 2 small forest areas on the map for logging. Water can be found at the water tower in the town for a small fee. There are 100 wooden toys, 5 sugar beets, 5 small model Massey Ferguson 1155 tractors on this map to be found. There are multiple sell points, production facilities placed on the map, and a train. There is no BGA placed. Map has a standard default growth calendar. The terrain on the map is mostly flat with some rolling hills, valleys, and ditches. Enjoy the map and have fun. And I tell you what, we will have fun on this map, that is for darn sure. But like I said, we are starting off in new farmer mode to see what you would get. So let's take a look at what you would get machinery wise on this map. Alright, so starting off here, you start off with medium tractors. You have 1 Massey Ferguson, that's a beaut. Large tractors, you have a fleet of large tractors. A Case Steiger Quad Track, a John Deere 8RX, a John Deere 8RT, and a Challenger MT743. Not too bad at all. Trucks, you do start off with a Mack Anthem. Harvesters, you start off with a Case Axle Flow, and to go along with that, you do have a Draper header and a corn header. Not too shabby at all. Cars wise, you do have a little Mahindra Retriever, little four-wheeler, whatever you want to call this guy, a little UTV, and you do start off with a truck. Trailers wise, you do have this big old semi trailer, the Wilson trailers. Cultivators, you start off with a nice beastly Rothless Mesh. Disc harrow, you start off with the Case Speed Tiller and a Speed Demon. You do start off with seeders, a Rapid, a 800S. Planters, you start off with a nice John Deere. And sprayers, you start off with a Howdy Commander Delta Force. So there you go. That's what you have if you start off in new farmer mode. Quite the fleet of vehicles, quite the fleet of implements. You definitely have your hands full, but let's go ahead and see where you can go ahead and use all of this equipment on new farmer mode. All right, so this is the map, guys. It is pretty darn big. It has some unique shapes up here. If you take a look at this up here, you take where you can see how they have fields. It kind of looks like it's all one field with just different things. We'll be able to go ahead and take a peek at all this stuff a little later on here. But it really does look like there are a bunch of these fields that are all kind of jammed together, and you can go ahead and plow them under, make large fields if that's what you choose. The fields are already fairly decent sized as is. You do have a couple neat selling points up here. You have the sugar plant. These do have their own specific prices per location. Sugar mill, you do have some of those production things on here. The grain south here, this is where your farm is at. And then down along here, this is like production row. I don't know what you want to call it. Maybe this is where you can actually call Frankenmuth the actual town center or the edge of the town, but this is where all the action is happening. So tell you what, you're going to want to get yourself familiar with this area for darn sure. But that's only half the battle. Let's take a look at the fields you actually do start off with. You do start off with field 4, field 11, and field 12. You do start off with one of the three starting farm locations. This is the main one where we all kind of start off at. And there's also this little plot right across the way right here. Now this little plot right here and this little plot right here, these two little guys, they would be perfect for going ahead, and if you want to start your own farm off from nothing, they are relatively cheap. So that's pretty darn snazzy. And this is actually the absolute cheapest plot on the entire map. This is a skinny little spot of just little flat grassland. So you could jump up there and do what you want to do with that. Now the absolute cheapest field that you would have up here is field 8, and that comes in at $31,000, almost $32,000. The most expensive field is field 21, coming in at $500,000, $554,000. Not too shabby wise. You do take a look at the field prices. They aren't terrible. Obviously, the larger fields are a little bit more expensive. Smaller fields a little bit cheaper. Generally, it's kind of a standard thing. Oh, man. But other than this one starting farm location, which would start off at $47,000, you do have this location up here that's $30,000, and then this one here that's $126,000. This is kind of a nice sprawling little area that actually has a little forestry plot on there, which is probably why it is a little bit more expensive. But other than that, guys, you take a look at the prices. They all kind of are roughly mid to fairly decent, reasonably priced. Compared to some maps that are just either really, really expensive for absolutely everything, or it's really, really cheap for just about everything. This one seems to be priced pretty good for the plots of land that you have available to you. So with that being said, guys, let's hop on out of here. Let's go ahead. Let's get on our feet. Let's rock and roll and see what this map looks like from the ground. Alright guys, so one of the things that I'd like to do here is I'd like to turn the map on in the corner, that way you can follow along with me. Now one of the things I did forget to mention is that when you go ahead and take a look at all the buildings that you can place on here, all of these red buildings are special or unique to this, that you can actually go ahead and set down wherever you want to, along with this house. Other than that, everything is standard to what you're normally going to be seeing in game. With that being said, let's go ahead and hop in here and take a peek and see what's going on. This is where our truck is, so that's pretty cool. I'll go ahead and actually get this little bad mamma jamma on out of here to begin with. I'm always personally a little hesitant on having these shops inside the buildings where you can go ahead and do your repairs, but I think it's neat. I think it's neat how everyone tries to go ahead and make this a very accessible area. Unfortunately, most of the time, my personal opinion is these are kind of hard to get into and deal with. But they do a great job of painting a picture and showing you what is what. Kind of like you would have things set up. Normally, you wouldn't have your tools just lying all over the ground, so putting them inside a building just makes more actual sense. Hey, take a look at this. Just an absolutely huge building. Great storage capabilities right here. And then across the way, you have a mirrored image where you have some more tractors and whatnot hiding in here. But I do like that woodworking, the wood framing all around there. It is pretty classic. Pretty classic Americana style farming, or at least I should say the look to it is pretty classic. Again, another little shed in here. I do like this. There's definitely a lot of space. Definitely a lot of space, especially if the concept or the mindset of all of this when it comes to American style maps, or even this Michigan styled map, it is big at heart and big on paper. It really is. It really is. I do like this nice custom buildings. It is pretty darn slick. And of course, if you have red barns, you should have a red pickup truck. I mean, that's the only thing that you really should be having here. Okay, so let's go ahead and pop this thing up. What we're going to go ahead and do is kind of go counterclockwise, a little drive around the map here, and we'll kind of end up in town before we go ahead and shoot ourselves up into the sky and take a look from bird's eye view. So let's hop on out over here, and let's go around. Let's see, pop that back up again. Okay, yeah. Do a little clockwise motion. One of the things I like to do, as you probably can see, is I like to go ahead and drive through the fields, not to irritate people, not to alienate people, but I really truly believe that it gives you a great perspective on how things actually look on the map field-wise. And as you can say on here, and as the modder had gone ahead and say, or map maker had gone ahead and say, this is a flat map with only a handful of things. You got some ditches over here. Now, I'll be 100% honest with you guys, depending where you are going in Michigan, I honestly have not been to this part. I do live fairly close to this general area, but I have not been over here, and from what I can gather, this area really is flat like this. Now, this is that water tower where you can go ahead and fill up your tanks, obviously for a fee, but that is one of the things that you do have working for you. Let's come on over here. We're going to shoot over here. We're going to avoid town really quick. We don't need to go over there just yet. We'll head on out over this way, and as you can see, guys, you still have more flat fields. What is the moral of this story? The moral of this story is that you're not necessarily going to have to upsize any of your equipment to compensate for, I don't want to go in that ditch, to compensate for hills, embankments, undulations, anything like that. That is not going to be a concern of yours at all on any of these maps. Now, I wanted to come over here because this is one of those sections where everything looks like it's all jammed together. As you can see, there is just a thin strip in between these fields. You very easily could go ahead and plow everything together and just make an absolute go at it for absolutely large fields. If that's what you want to do, you have that option. It's definitely there. To kind of drive around this section here a little bit. Now, one of the things I did notice when I was wandering through the woods a little while ago, I did notice that along the edges here, it seems very dense. But once you kind of get yourself back into the trees just a little bit, maybe this one isn't that way. It is a little bit, it is dense. Oh shoot, my gosh, this is not good. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. Oh man, so what you can see here is that it is a fairly, oh my gosh, that deer scared me. It is a fairly dense with shrubs, dense with, not necessarily with trees, but it gives you that look. Oh my gosh, there's a whole bunch of them right here. Let's see, what do we get for this one? 10,000, not too shabby. Let's see if the animals are any different. The animals are 1,000, so the tractors are 10,000 and the little animals are 1,000. This is what I wanted to kind of show you. There are trees all in here. They're all the irregular shaped trees. I call these trees the irregular shaped trees, the ones that aren't very good for harvesting, that aren't very good for doing forestry. They still can be done. They're not as easy to harvest, is what I should be saying. They're not as easy to harvest, but they do work out pretty well, and there are a lot of those shrubs to get through there. Moral of the story is when you jump in there and try and run around like I did, you got to be careful because it's going to be very, very hard to see. Now, this is that one farm location where it is the most expensive. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but as you can see over here, you do have a nice little setup, kind of perched up out of the way. You do have a little bit of that woods off to the side to help you gain a little bit more extra income. But all in all, it's not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. We'll keep on going around over here. And this is that one sell point that I wanted to show you or talk to you about. And got to get over here. I don't want to take that ditch. That is an awfully massive ditch right there. And then I just go ahead and drive right into it. Oh my gosh, get out of there. Come on, come on. There we go. What you got going on over here for the sugar area, the sugar sell points, you have large sugar beets. I can't even get over there. Gosh darn it all. Let's see if we can find this entrance. Yep, it's right over here. Those are large sugar beet piles that are actually out there. So that's what you got going on for your sugar sell point. And I really do like this right here. The fact that you have the sugar mill directly next to it. That makes everything that you're doing just that much more magical. Oh man, I tell you what. Let's keep on going over here, and up ahead of us, I believe this is the last of the 3 starting farm locations where you could possibly jump into things. And then we'll go take a look at this one last little plot right over here. So this one here obviously has a lot of storage in it as well, kind of like that first location. Square footage wise, it doesn't have as much land, I should say, or acreage wise, you don't have as much land to keep yourself going or to put up any extra things, but you do make up for it with tons and tons of space. Now, if you kind of see how these power lines are running up around over here, you take a look at this little section right here. This little section right here is that one area I was telling you about that's the cheapest plot on the map for like $23,000. This one right here is where I was saying you could potentially start your own little farm up right here. It's not a lot of space, but with all the stuff that we have on the game right now, we do have quite a bit of space savers that would allow you to go ahead and start some stuff up. I mean, ultimately, if you're going ahead and playing the game, you don't really need a house. That's just kind of a luxury. All you need is like one of them little trailers if you really want to for sleeping. You don't necessarily need a barn or a shed to put your machinery in. You pretty much just need some place to park your stuff and place down a silo here and there, and that's about it. So if you're going off of that place right there is absolutely fabulous for what you need to do. It's pretty darn cool. Let's keep on going up over here. Now this field off to the side here is one of the fields that you would start off with, and as you can see, those power lines are coming right through the field, creating just absolutely horrendous obstacles. I personally hate it when you have those power lines going right through there. It's such a pain when you're trying to harvest, plow, really anything. The only thing it really doesn't care too much is spreading fertilizer, and that's about it. But other than that, it's not too much. But at this point here, we're going to kind of head right back into town to take a look and see what's going on over there, where you have all your sell points, where you have all your stuff going on. And right up here is kind of like what I was calling the beginning of the production road. I don't know what it's actually called, but I'm going to call it Production Road because you come down this road right here, and there's a production facility. There's a production facility. There is a production facility. There's a production. I mean, it's just all up and down this road right here. Not too shabby. I personally kind of like it when all this stuff is sitting right next to each other. It definitely does make running around doing things much more convenient. And I tell you what, I absolutely love these grain silos. These are absolutely fabulous. Oh man, that's classic right there. That is absolutely classic right there. So, sorry about that, guys. Had a dog emergency had to take care of. Rosie, the farm dog, had to use the restroom. Oh man, and as you can see, you got a nice little spot up and over here. Let's see, I don't remember if this spot right here is purchasable. I don't believe it is. No, it is not, but you do have these little spots over here that you can purchase. Let's take a peek at this really quick. These, I believe, are the production facility locations. Yeah, that's exactly it. Those are the production facility locations. So if you want this, you can go ahead and get it. And then on top of that, buy the land and put stuff down if that's what you so choose. So let's go ahead and hop out of here really quick for just a second. And we are going to go ahead and reset this vehicle, which I believe is going to put it right where we're at right here. Yep, there it is. Right in front of you. So this is where you're going to go ahead and purchase all your equipment. It's going to spawn right here, and if you have to reset it, this is exactly where it's going to be. And on that note, guys, let's take a second here, fly up into the sky, and take a look at this map from a bird's eye view. Alright, so here we go. 1, 2, 3. Let's get up in the sky and take a look at this map from up above. Now, as you can see, guys, this is where all the action ends up happening. This is where the money is made. Well, the money's made out there. This is where you get to collect the money. Oh, man. So this map right here is a pretty darn neat map. It is flat. That is one of the things that I would say, in my mind, is not necessarily the most fundamental thing. But I tell you what, you go ahead and you take a look at this, and you can definitely see that the map has a lot of potential to make tons and tons of money. It's not colossal sized fields. Everything seems to be manageable. It really does seem to be set up in a way or done in a way where you can make money no matter what you want to do. If you want to do a little bit smaller farming, you kind of have that option. If you want to do some bigger farming, you definitely have that option. All in all, you can do anything you want on this map, and it really does seem like you could do just about whatever you wanted. Oh man, I tell you what, guys, go ahead, comment down below, let me know what you think of this map. Is this something that you want to jump into, or is this something that you want to steer clear of? I think you should go ahead, download it, give it a whirl, see what you think of it yourself, but don't take my word for it. Download it for yourself. If you guys are liking what you're hearing, liking what you're seeing, go ahead and smash that like button. Go ahead and help the channel out by subscribing. Hit that subscription. Turn the notification bell on and have it set to all. That way you know when this and other great videos are coming out. Guys, go ahead and share this with a fellow Michigander. I'm not a fellow Michigander. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. If not, share it with a Michigander. They'll appreciate it. Oh boy, guys, I tell you what. This looks like a great one. Until next time, thanks for stopping by.